everyone, and welcome to another Storytime episode of the Scary-ish Podcast.
Woo!
I'm Robin Grace, this is Adam Diaz, and we're fucking up.
For those of you who are listening to the audio version of this podcast, you just heard the second intro that we did. For those of you who are watching live, you've seen what a mess today is already. Thank you so much to all of you who join us for the Storytime episodes every 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at youtube.com/scaryish and twitch.tv/scaryish podcast. Big shout out to Sacred Infinity, who just resubscribed for the fourth month in a row, 6 times total. And the message was, hello, hello. To which you can only respond, hola. And hopefully we don't get sued by you too. But yeah, fun stuff. So we're going to be doing the Storytime episode, which means we're going to be reading your homegrown horrors. Robin, what's a homegrown horror?
So homegrown horrors. Hold on. Let me get in the zone.
Shout out to Miss Deezy, who just resubscribed for the 13th month.
Thank you so much.
Miss Deezy, you're amazing. And it says, my pearls.
Okay, so homegrown horrors are the supernatural, paranormal, spiritual stories of events that have actually happened to you, your family, your friends, that you folks take the time out of your day to type up and send to us so that we can share with the rest of our spooky friends.
Indeed. And if you have a story like that, please reach out to us and let us know and tell us, hey, you can share this with the group. And the email address is storytime@scarish.com. You can also go to the website scarish.com and click on contact us, fill out that form. Or go to any of our social medias and hit us up. You can find the links to them on our website. You can just type in facebook.com/scarishpodcast. You can go to Insta and type in @scarishpod, and that's us. Or you can go to the Twitter and type in @scarishpodcast, and that will hit us up. So fun stuff. Super excited. There's 1 week left for this giveaway. So anytime an episode comes out, comment on it by tagging one of your friends and then share the episode for an entry. We got a lot of entries out there.
Yeah.
Can't wait to spin the wheel and see who wins a free box of goodies. Very excited. That said, we're going to have 4 stories for you folks tonight. I'm going to be going first, so I guess I can just jump right in, right?
Sure.
Awesome. So it starts out. Shout out to the Snark who just resubscribed.
Thank you so much.
Resubscribed with their 12th month. It says, 1 year, keep up the good work. Thanks for being amazing.
You guys are awesome.
You guys are amazing. You're breathtaking. But the first email we're going to get to is called My Ouija Board Experience You Can Read on the Pod, which is a solid subject because now we know what to expect and the fact that we can share it. Which I'm realizing it's a good thing that they put that in there because this week we're without Spooky Mom editing these.
Yeah.
So we edited each other's. So I know what hers are going to say and she knows what mine are going to say. But I don't know what mine are going to say and you get it. Fuck. Okay. Starts out like this. Hi, Adam and Robin.
Hello.
Hello. My name is Chelsea and I just recently discovered your podcast, so I'm playing catch up. This story is a bit on the longer side, so I'm just going to jump right in. A few years ago, my friends and I decided to play with my grandma's old Ouija board, which, you know, if it's an old Ouija board from one of your grandparents, definitely means it's real and it totally works.
Well, it's already imbued with demons.
Exactly. It's had some demons run through it a few times, so they must feel like familiar coming back to it. It's been around the block. It's from the 60s and just has a very creepy feel to it. There were only 3 of us and we played at one of my friends' houses. When we asked its name, it repeated the letters S-E-S-E. My friend freaked out because she read that repeating letters is a sign of a demonic entity. We put it away after that, but played it again a few weeks later. We got the same entity again, and this time it was pretty aggressive. It said that it wanted me specifically, and it had been following me for quite some time. It said it met me in hell and that it loved me. I was freaked out to say the least, but then things got worse. I was playing with the same 2 friends, one of which is a male. The board spelled out that it wanted him to die and that it was going to skin him. We put the board away and they never played it again. I think I probably would have put it away before I got to the skinning part. When it told me it met me in hell, I would have been like, yeah, I think I'm good. Shout out to Jaxie Babe, who just resubscribed for the 7th month with a very long woo.
Thank you so much.
All right, moving back into the story. When I moved into my apartment with my boyfriend of the time, things started to happen. He said that he would see a little girl figure out of the corner of his eye, and handprints would appear on the mirror that were too big for it to be either of our hands. One appeared right in front of my mom while she was over. A bag of chips blew off the counter while we were in bed, and I told him to ignore it and just go to sleep. But I think the creepiest thing that happened was when I went home to change clothes between jobs. I was alone and just walking up to the front door. I could feel negativity. All my hair was standing up, and I was just terrified. I went inside and started to tell the thing that negative entities were not welcome and to leave the apartment. Then I heard 3 booming footsteps coming toward me from the kitchen, and something growled right in my ear. I grabbed my clothes and bolted out of there. I did some cleansing and gave my grandma back her board, and since then, things have been pretty quiet. Why would you take the board with you? Thank you so much for doing what you guys do. It makes my work days go by so much faster. Heart emoji.
Thank you so much. When it comes to Ouija boards and things like that, and when people get messages about wanting to skin people, sometimes I think of it just being the spirit of a dead serial killer or something like that.
Or maybe just an asshole who likes to talk a bunch of shit. You know what I mean? Like, not everyone that says stuff like that is a serial killer. Some people just like to run their mouths the whole bunch.
But wouldn't it seem possible, nay, probable, that it's someone who has such dark negative energy would be able to come back and just be like, I want to skin some bitches?
As far as probable, I'm going to go with no. It's not that probable. But it does seem like if something like this were to actually exist, yeah, I think it would be more likely to be a serial killer and not just some dude who likes to talk shit. Although shit talkers should probably not get to heaven or hell. They should just like chill out for a bit and have to like learn all their moves like in Ghost. I always reference that movie. But hopefully they don't get as good at it. Just saying. Sounds more like a demon. I never would have taken that board after the initial event with me when I left and moved into my new apartment.
They gave it back to the grandma.
Yeah, they gave it back, but it sounds like they moved into the apartment and took the board with them, is what I'm saying.
When I read it, it seemed to me that they left it with their friends, and then their friends never used it because they said they never used it again. And then weird stuff started happening at their apartment, so they didn't necessarily have the board.
Well, this person said that they moved in with their boyfriend at the time, their significant other at the time, and then after all this crazy stuff started happening, they gave the board back to the grandma, which made it sound to me like they took the board with them to the apartment. So
I don't know.
We'll need clarification, Chelsea.
Need
Send that on in. But thank you so much. If you have additional stories, we certainly want to hear them.
So this next one's subject is newbie. It goes, hi, me again. I guess I should tell at least a couple people or a couple of my stories. There's not even the word people in there.
Robin just makes up words. She also never wears her corrective lenses when we do these shows, like, ever.
I'm cool if you share it. Nice.
Good.
One of the weirder ones happened a while ago. So I was living in a house with a basement. Sorry, Robin. Basements, it's just, why? Why do that?
Because they're awesome. They're huge.
We don't have them here in Vegas.
Yeah, because you don't need them here in Vegas. Plus, I'm pretty sure the ground is, like, super hard. So.
Yeah, wow. It is. Okay,
the ground is super, super excited here in Vegas, so you definitely don't need a basement.
The basement wasn't all that scary, but it was slightly prone to flooding due to an in-ground pool we had. At the time, I had a loft bed, so it was kind of hard to see me when you first walked into my room. I shared my room with my little sister, and this will be important later on. One night, I was staying up way later than I normally do. I looked at my watch and saw it was around 3:30 a.m. I'd been listening to music in a blanket nest, which are the best type of nests.
I will say, this person sent us something and we responded to them, and they responded to us and let us know that they like to make blanket nests and told Robin they were Team No Fan. And then they responded to that email chain like a couple months later with a new story, and I was like, aw, like, it's the blanket nest person.
When I was growing up, would make a round nest, right? You put the blanket out and then you roll all the corners in, you roll all the sides and stuff in, so it's like a big circle, and then you put the pillows and then you just lay there and fall asleep, and it's like comfy and comforting. Anyway,
adorable.
I'd been listening to music in a blanket nest when I saw my closet door slowly open. So for reference, my closet has one door and was kind of like a walk-in. It was pretty small, but you could hide pretty easily in there. So me being me, I was kind of freaked out, but not too much, thinking that it was probably my little sister. Only problem was that when I looked at her bed, she was fast asleep. When I looked back at the closet, the door was wide open. Nope.
Super fucking creepy.
Now, normally before I go to bed, I make sure the closet is totally shut with the light on so my little sister can sleep. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's really nice because it's like leaving a nightlight on. Here's the thing. If you see your closet door creep open to the point where it's all the way open, like, what do you do? Do you try and close it? Do you throw something in there? I would throw like a pillow or a Molotov cocktail if I had one, just to make sure.
So they're saying that the light is normally on in the closet,
but the light's off now.
So you can understand my confusion when the lights were off and the door was wide open. That's creepy.
Yeah.
So you go to bed and the lights are on because you can see it from under the door, And then you wake up, the door's creeping open, and the lights are off.
The only thing that could be worse is if it was like glowing bright orange, like there was fire behind the door before it started creeping open. And then, of course, you saw a face that says Zool afterwards, because then you know things are going to go really poorly.
I couldn't see anything inside. I started kind of freaking out when I saw that what I thought were eyes. I blinked, they blinked, then they disappeared. That's creepy.
Yeah, that's super fucking creepy. There are eyeballs in the closet that aren't supposed to be there.
As you might suspect, I got no sleep that night. Best part is, that's not even the last time it happened. Just burn the closet. Just burn, or put a lock on it.
Yeah, that would work. Put a lock on it or a doorstop, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart.
I'll gladly tell you more stories if you'd like. I'm currently on episode 7, but I'm planning on catching up soon. Have a great day and keep on creeping.
Thank you so much for sending that in.
Thank you so much.
I would say a doorstop to stop the demon, because then he'd get like really frustrated trying to push that door open, and you could hear him grumbling the whole time.
Okay, so when you have something like that you put a lock on, do you think you will just start hearing
It rattle.
banging?
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
So that's the thing about a doorstop is the harder you push, the more stuck the door gets. So like you just hear it like trying to get open, like God damn it, like the demon just getting angrier and angrier that it won't open. Or if there's a person in there, then they're just fucking stuck.
I'm just imagining Monsters Inc.
I've seen Monsters Inc. one time when it came out a long time ago.
I'm just imagining Mike Wazowski. Oh, who plays his voice?
John Goodman?
No, the
Billy
other
Crystal.
one. Yeah, I'm just imagining his voice on the other side of the door, like super frustrated trying to get in. It would be
funny.
so cute. Billy Crystal, at his age now, would probably be really creepy, but I mean...
His voice will still be the same, though. His voice is amazing. He's also my favorite Oscars host ever.
Really?
He's always been absolutely hilarious when he's hosted the Oscars. But that's because I'm not old enough to really remember when Johnny Carson used to host the Oscars. Because he was just like the fucking king of Hollywood. Like, that was back when The Tonight Show was something that people would stay home to watch. Or stay up late to watch on, like, school nights and shit. Because, like, Johnny Carson was just the shit. So that's what I remember about him as a kid. Because when I was a kid, he retired. And like I was super young and I barely remember it. But anyways, this has been Movie Corner with Adam. So I'm going to move into my second, the third of the show, and my final one. And this one's subject is scary-ish death story. Please feel free to read on the pod. And it starts out like this. Hey, Adam and Robin.
Hello.
Hello. This is my first story to you guys, and I hope I can give it justice. Let me first say, I don't really believe in ghosts in the typical sense, but I have had interactions over the years that make me question whether that is indeed true. I am more open to the thought that there may be things or spirits that we just aren't able to see or understand. I think that's a really good way to look at it. My dad was a Marine for 21 years, so my entire life was spent on the move. We moved roughly every 3 years, so I didn't spend a lot of my life in one place. One of the places that we lived and I spent the formative years of my childhood in was Okinawa, Japan. I was around...
I think that's so cool.
11. That is awesome. The Battle of Okinawa was one of the last major battles of World War II and one of the bloodiest. The Japanese believed that if Okinawa fell, it would be a final staging point for the land invasion of Japan. It was their last stand. With the island roughly half the size of Rhode Island, over 49,000 Allied soldiers were killed and over 110,000 Japanese died.
That is so many.
I know, right? At that point of the war, kamikaze attacks were common on the offshore fleet, and the Japanese soldiers didn't believe in surrender. Many of them killed themselves rather than be captured.
And that was really common.
Yeah.
They'd rather perform seppuku on themselves than turn themselves over.
It's just crazy fanaticism, dedication to a cause that was like failing, and I cannot imagine being like involved in a skirmish with someone who is that dedicated to what they believed in. On an island that small and densely populated, it's almost inevitable that you were walking on a spot where someone was killed. When we were there in the late 90s, it was still very common to find unexploded mines, grenades, and recover spent ammunition shells just a few feet underground. I've had some experiences that entrenched my beliefs in spirits because there were things that I just couldn't explain. But that's a different story for another day. Don't worry, I promise to send you some of those experiences.
Sweet.
Awesome. My creepy story deals with the death of my grandfather. Aw. While we were on Okinawa, my grandfather passed away in Atlanta. I was 12. My grandfather was always a joker and loved to play little jokes on the grandchildren to make us smile. We didn't have a traditional casket funeral, but rather a memorial service with an urn. I had that for my grandmother, I think. It was my first experience with the death of a family member, and at that age, I didn't understand where the body had gone and why there was such little left after cremation. After my parents explained to me why he wanted to be cremated, it was our job to drive a few hours north to the mountains of North Georgia and scatter his ashes. He always loved the mountains, and the area was particularly special to my grandmother since they spent most of their early years as a married couple in that area.
Aww.
The particular place was a state park, and I remember it being clear, albeit very humid. I got to stop really fast and just say this. Today, my grandparents were on my mind super, super heavily, and I was like, I fucking know I'm going to read an email about grandparents.
Aww.
Like, I knew it at work. I was like, it's just going to happen. That's what always happens, but thank you so much for sending it in, because it makes me feel better hearing this from someone else. Albeit very humid, a spring day. Once we arrived, still being in our Sunday best, we walked along wooded paths to find a good spot. We carried the coffee ground tin sized grandfather in a wicker picnic basket. My grandmother was very picky on where his final resting spot would be. How does this place look? Too wooded. Okay, let's find another spot. Here? Too open. More hiking. How about here? No, it doesn't seem right.
I think that's typical family stuff.
Yeah, plus it's like, that's like kind of the last thing she has of him.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really hard to have that last goodbye.
It's like never good enough.
Yeah. The quest continued. While on our woodland hike, the basket seemed to grow heavier and heavier. Grandpa and his basket made his rounds around the family. It's your turn to carry Grandpa now.
That's
your turn.
That's really sweet, though,
Yeah.
because then everyone kind of gets to spend time with him before.
Yeah. Even the kids carried him for as long as they could. As a child, it seemed that we were walking all day. Even my mother confirmed that we walked for multiple hours that day. Imagine 10 or so family members in suits wandering around a forested mountainous state park carrying a wicker picnic basket. Your grandfather was awesome because I'm pretty sure he pictured this, and that's why this was his request, not just because it was such a special place for him and his grandmother. He's like, I'm going to make all of them go together in really nice clothes. We must have looked very strange to other hikers. After what seemed like forever, we finally found a good spot. It was on a cliff face that had a wonderful view over the ravine below. It was mid-afternoon, sunny, humid, and super calm, totally serene. We all gathered in a semicircle. We gathered the picnic basket, opened the coffee-sized tin, said a few words, and as we were scattering his ashes, a huge gust of wind came back and blew the ashes all in our faces.
Oh my God.
The whole family was covered.
It's got to be the grandpa's joke. That
One
he's
last
just like,
joke.
joke on this.
Right? Take me with you wherever you go. Cleaning the ash from our faces, we looked around and we all started to laugh. Talk about a final practical joke. We all walked back through the trail to our cars to return to Atlanta, and as we all were getting in our cars in the parking lot, the sky suddenly opened and started hailing. Although the sky was totally clear, it hailed for about 5 minutes. Afterwards, I remember seeing a rainbow. I will always remember that bright spot in such a sad day. Anyway, love watching the show. The Snarked and I love watching every week. Love much, L.
Thank you so much for sending your story. I think that's so freaking funny.
That's so awesome. And I think like the fact that you were so young makes it so special because there's all these things that you remember from your childhood that like have bigger impact. It's really weird being back home this past weekend and seeing things that I remember growing up around and now seeing them as an adult. It's just like a store, you know, like I have always talked about Aldi to Robin because it's like we don't have Aldi's in Las Vegas. So it's like, and to me as an adult, I know it's just a grocery store, you know, but we walked into Aldi's and it's the first time she's seen it. And it's the first time I've seen it in like 20 years. And as I'm walking through, I'm like, this fucking place is tiny. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But when you look at stuff like through the lens of like the child that you used to be, everything has this like different appeal to it that's like so much more grand.
Different filter.
Yeah, so for something that touching and like that special, even that sad, like it's got to be such a wonderful memory, even though it's super bittersweet. So thank you so much for sharing it because I can't imagine like it's an easy thing to share, but it's a pretty good story, man.
Yeah,
like,
it's a really good story.
I just imagine your grandfather like just waiting and like just dump it out. And then finally you dump it and whew, here comes the wind to blow it back in your faces. So thank you so much. That was awesome.
So this is the last email of the night. This next email is titled Plague Inc. IRL, which is super strange. I'd be so scared.
I love that game. Okay, side story, just based off your subject. Holy shit, we tangent a lot.
Oh my God.
So one Christmas I was still working at GameStop and they gave us these really not good 9-inch tablets for like $60 and they're like, hey, try and sell a bunch of these and we're going to have a contest for Christmas to see who can sell the most. I was like, all right. So I opened up like 6 of them at my store. I installed one app, Plague Inc. And I told my staff, I want you to help customers, but I want you to have this in your hands at all times, and I want you to be playing Plague Inc. So everyone that came in the store wanted to know what game it was, and we'd show it to them, tell them what it was. We're like, you can download it on your phone. Also, we got these 9-inch tablets for $60 that you can totally buy right now. We sold so many, they had to drive extra down to Arizona for me to keep selling them. And they were like, how do you keep selling them? I was like, I just have my employees playing fucking video games on them all day. And they're like, that's genius. Like, I crushed that contest. All right, let's get on to the story.
Anyway, hello, Adam and Robin. Hello.
Hello.
Please feel free to share on the podcast. Thanks. It's Justin again with a shortish, scary story for you. Scary.
What up, Justin?
I'm sure it's scary
also
too,
watching right now live. Thank you for
so
joining
much.
us.
I've been working on a backlog of the subject episodes, and I'm excited to binge and catch up. I just finished the Spanish flu episode, and I was surprised to learn that there was a more recent outbreak of the Spanish flu. Back in 2009, I was in college at VCU, which is Virginia Commonwealth University.
Yep.
And they said, go Rams, go.
That's awesome.
And I had just started dating my husband, Larry. Oh, that's so romantic. I had gotten sick later in the semester and was told to immediately go see the doctor. After a few days of waffling, what's that mean?
Like not deciding whether or not to go. It's like going back and forth.
I finally made my appointment and went in because it wasn't getting better. I was exhibiting flu-like symptoms and a diet of coffee, crappy dining hall soup, a bowl of pho, and hope just wasn't cutting it. On Thursday, when I went into the clinic, mind you, this was the student clinic that every university has, they had to test me. They shoved a very, very long Q-tip into my nasal cavity to get a sample. Ugh.
I was like, long Q-tip, eh?
It's like shoving it all the way up here, probably getting it. Ugh.
You gotta tap the brain if you want to get a really good sample.
It's so gross. It was uncomfortable, but it went by quickly. After about 10 minutes of waiting, the nurse came back in, handed me a mask, and said I tested positive for H1N1.
That's swine flu.
That's scary.
Wow.
That is super scary. She wrote me a couple of scripts, and I was immediately ushered out the back door and down the stairs. I wasn't feeling terrible, so it wasn't a big deal, but I was sick, damn it, and where the hell was her sense of patient service? I was given explicit instructions to quarantine myself and focus on getting better. This is 20-year-old Justin. Imagine telling me I can't do something today and dial the just effing watch me attitude up by 1 million.
Oh, God. You're like, I'm going to infect this whole goddamn campus.
I just so happened to be an officer in the LGBT group on campus. The group is called Queer Action, or QA for short. We were planning the biggest LGBT event of the school year, Drag Ball. That's adorable. There was absolutely no way I was going to miss such an important meeting that night. In addition, my roommates were having a party at the apartment that night. I rarely slept in my own bed because Larry had a Tempur-Pedic mattress at his apartment, was closer to school, and other reasons. But I figured I should go and quarantine myself. So this party was for our school's very own Quidditch team, the Whizzing Gamut. And last bit of info, the pharmacy on campus didn't have my meds, so I had to go off campus to the nearby CVS. Flash forward a few hours, I'm draped across the couch watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. All these are so cool, like the freaking university's Quidditch team and all this stuff. It's so neat. And feeling just incensed at how I have to stop my busy life to get better. The people start rolling in, and I tell them all I have to leave and quarantine myself. They all generally say, no, it's fine, stay here and hang out, just keep your mask on. I hang out with them for about an hour before getting on my bike and riding to campus to attend this meeting. The meeting was about 20 people large, and I'm trying to run the meeting with my mask on. Can you guess what I did next?
That's funny.
Oh my God. Okay. Yep, I took off the mask and said my piece and sat down. I can't remember the specifics, but Drag Ball went off without a hitch that year, a few months later, of course. I made $50 for charity for dancing to a Britney Spears song for 5 minutes. Oh my gosh, the picture included is so adorable. You guys are awesome.
Hashtag I would.
Oh my God. Anyways, I go home that night and wake up the next morning feeling pretty okay. I got my prescriptions filled and was doing pretty okay. I was feeling crappy, but I wasn't dying, so I pushed myself and went to class. I figured it's Friday, it's the last class, I'll be okay for just one more day. I spent the weekend being sick, but it wasn't terrible. When I woke up Monday morning, the bill came due. I was basically a corpse. I couldn't move. My head was pounding. My temp was over 102, and I was sore all over. So it hit. So it's like that whole week, you're fine. You're like,
well, it's like you got to give your body a
sick,
chance
blah.
to fight it, and the more you spend energy, it's like the less energy your body actually has to defend itself against whatever virus you have. In this case,
funny.
H1N1.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's insane. It's the kind of soreness you feel now in your 30s when you sleep wrong. It's 100% true.
Yeah,
there was
accurate.
a week where I was just like, there's something wrong with my pillow. I can't. This hurts so bad.
Sleeping hurts so
I
much.
know.
I'm so tired from sleep. I need a nap.
For anyone younger, imagine working out a new muscle and it's day 2 after your workout, but all over your body. Specific weird spots around your body that just aches. I don't remember what happened next because I was pretty much shivering and delirious for the next week. I remember somehow getting to Larry's apartment and eventually started to feel better after a full week of being sick.
Wow.
There's a funny story about Larry taking care of me I need to share, but I need to get his permission first.
That's hilarious.
Oh, and I flunked my Spanish class because I missed too many classes. That's stupid.
If you have a disease.
Yeah, it's like, I got H1N1, bitch. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's nonsense.
Apparently, the teacher didn't care that I had swine flu, and I had explained to her the entire situation in Spanish of what happened. Whatever, I was way too advanced for that class anyway. Like, legit.
That's awesome.
Like, legit, it was Spanish 102, and I had taken 3 years of Spanish prior. I also got a fair amount of people sick. Almost half the Quidditch team caught the flu. That's about 7 people. I got an officer sick from my QA organization, and about 6 members caught the flu. The pharmacist... Oh, my God. The pharmacist and cashier at CVS also caught the flu. These are the people I know I got sick. Somehow, Larry never got sick, so this is proof he's a witch.
That's hilarious. Strong immune system, Larry. Good work.
The silver lining is that no one I had gotten sick directly died from H1N1 outbreak of 2009.
Directly indicates, it like implies that someone indirectly died of it.
I read an article about a year later stating that since we had caught such a virulent strain of the flu, we're not exactly immune, but we have a better chance of fighting off infections related to the flu virus. That's cool.
That is cool.
I've remained mostly flu-free since 2009. There are a few minor incidents where I've caught the flu after moving across the country or being on the strip for too long during flu season. I also make it a point to get the flu shot every year as early as I remember to. It may work, it may not work, but a whole week of being sick will just make you try to be safer. Hope you liked my story, and I can't wait for more brunches with y'all. Best regards, Justin. That was a really good story.
Yeah, that was amazing. I cannot believe you caught H1N1.
And I can't believe how many people got it.
And you were just Typhoid Mary running around that campus getting everyone fucking sick.
Hashtag don't eat ass.
That's so funny.
Yeah, no, I think that's freaking hilarious.
I don't know anyone that's been involved in an epidemic, much less, been patient zero for it. So I'm super excited. We should go to lunch. I'm definitely going to bring my mask. So right on. Thank you so much for sending that in. Thank you to everyone who sent in Homegrown Horrors. We appreciate you. If you have a story that you would like to share with us, whether it's scary, spooky, touching, moving, or maybe coincidental where you realize that you actually weren't being haunted, you were just silly, please email storytime@scarish.com or go to the website scarish.com and click on Contact Us. Send us your story, and if you want to reach out to us on our social medias and send it in message form, you can do that on any of them. Facebook is facebook.com/scarishpodcast. Twitter is @scarishpod, and Instagram is @scarishpodcast. Robin, for the folks who would like to donate monetarily, how can they do so?
You can go to patreon.com/scarishpodcast. Those are monthly donations. Tiers start at $1 and go up from there. We have some goodie tiers, some shout out tiers. We got freaking producer tier if anybody wants to be like executive producer type person.
If you're a baller and a shot caller, go ahead and check that out.
And we also have one-time donations at ko-fi.com/scarishpodcast. Those are one-time donations. All those donations go to helping us improve our studio setup and order this new computer so we can have more USB hubs. USB ports.
We can have
and
more
stuff like
everything to make sure everything runs on time.
And so that we can increase the amount of streams that we can do. So we can start doing our video game streams, more hangout session streams, things like that. Head on over, please check out our website, scarish.com. We have a lot of stuff on there. Our store's on there. I post like things that I like on there.
There's a bunch of new stuff over in our Teespring store too.
There's
so
a lot of new
check
stuff.
That out.
Yes. And my Etsy store. I know we don't talk about my Etsy store a lot, but I post Scary-ish merch that we have here. So if I've made the stickers and stuff like that and coasters, things like that, I post it to the Etsy store. You can't get the coasters on the Teespring store or anything. It's just I package them, I ship them out from here. We have a whole bunch of different stickers and stuff on there, and a bunch of nerdy stuff. If you're into Pokemon and anime and stuff like that, you can head over there too. I got a whole bunch of nerdy things on there. But yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Robin just designed a brand new coaster before we came on the air.
Yes,
and ordered them. So expect to see those going up very,
well,
very
those are
soon.
for patrons. I said that earlier.
Never mind.
Yeah.
My bad,
They're
dogs.
going out for Christmas, so.
Good to know. All right, so that's another reason to go ahead and become a wonderful patron. But I think that's just about everything that we have for you wonderful folks. Thank you so much for listening or watching, however you experienced Scarish tonight. We appreciate all of you. So, Robin, go ahead and sign us out.
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.